Watch this. No way!
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Cookie Jar Golf Podcast. I'm Tom Mills and I'm joined by Sam Williams, who still hasn't picked up his microphone, and David Shaw-Stewart. And David, I'm going to teach you a bit on etiquette first. We kind of it's quite close to the mouth with the microphone, so we do it like this. So that's perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Are you hearing me?
I believe I'm hearing you, yes. That's
No, I won't, thanks.
So, yeah, we are sat outside the clubhouse at Traigh Golf Club on... What county are we in, David?
We're in Inverness-shire,
Oh, okay.
which stretches all the way across Scotland. Highland region.
Right. That's big then, because Inverness is the other side of the country.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Highland region.
Oh, wow.
What a glorious morning. 6:30 we were trying to had tees in the ground, but we got a bit sidetracked wazzing the drone around.
Well, 6:15 was tea time, where David was kind enough to let us park our mobile office outside his home last night.
Banging on our window at 6 in the morning, which would be unacceptable in any other world.
So, David, thank you so much for having us at Traigh. I suppose, first of all, tell us a little bit about Traigh and your connection to it. Is it Traigh?
Spelled
That was it. Clyde said it was Traigh.
It's spelled Traigh. It's pronounced Traigh, and it means beach in Gaelic. So it's a Gaelic word. My family came up here in the 1890s, but lived at Lochmora, round the corner. And then we moved to Traigh in just after the Second World War, when my grandmother had been widowed. And the golf course was already here. It had 9 holes. But it was pretty dangerous golf course because all the holes crisscrossed, and some of the
hard hats on the first tee.
Well, hard hats on the road because some of the holes played along the line of the road, and I can remember my father hitting a fish lorry and one or two things like that. So, in 1993, when he'd retired in about 1990. So in 1993, the present course was opened. We added 2 new fields, and it made it a bit longer, and none of the holes crisscross. And it was designed by Johnny Salverson, and one of the key things he's done, I think you'll agree, it's got very nice views here. And
amazing.
He makes the holes play into the view.
Yeah,
which
so
I think
9, you said, points at Skye?
9
Correct.
points at Skye, and number 3 you play out to the island of Egg, and then you play out to the island of Rum down at the 5th. So you're playing into the view, because golfers don't look at the view, Johnny said. And I think he's right, unless you make them hit into it.
Well, we talked about this, didn't we, coming down the 9th then? Some courses are sort of internally looking and others are sort of quite... And this is one where you've got incredible views on the roadside as you come in. Has obviously got, I would say, one of the finest beaches I've ever seen. And you can see a smorgasbord of islands. But then when you cross the ridge, where a lot of the holes play in and off and over that ridge, you've got breathtaking views the other side of the Highland
golf course,
stuff.
Suddenly. It's
like
sort of rocky
it's
hills.
like you walked into Glen Eagles all of a
Yes, it's
sudden.
a combination of links, very linksy, and then over the other side it's more sort of rocky and mountainous. And
So what's it like being would you... The proprietor?
Well, a French guy played here, and he called me the president, but I don't think
President.
he called Monsieur Président. But I know technically, I think I own it jointly with my siblings. There's 4 of us own it jointly, and one brother and I operate it. And it's a challenge operating it. The club is wonderful. I'm also just a member of the club, so I work very closely with the club. But there's not enough people in the club to run it really. So I have to. We have to run the course, and then we operate with the club.
So let's put a little bit of colour around this in terms of 9 holes.
9 holes.
You play it twice for 18 for an 18
Play
hole.
twice for 18. We do have 2 separate tees. We have medal tees and ordinary tees, but basically it's the same.
The yardage
same
is
hole.
2,456 yards, but to use David's expression, if you believe that, you believe anything.
Well, my big complaint...
When you said you did the yardages,
Yeah.
you walked the course with a watch.
I challenge anyone to play to their handicap here, because it's tough.
It's really hard.
I mean, I've had some very good players play here. There's a guy who played 5 Walker Cups, and he told me he got 6 pars here. And I said, well, what did you do on the other 3 holes? And he drew a veil over those. So,
it's very undulating.
It's very undulating.
We've got the first tee shot, for those of you that don't know a huge amount about Traigh, the first tee shot's incredibly daunting. 130 yarder up a
up a steep hill.
cliff.
A cliff.
It's Megadeth.
Which is
Anything
kind of
short and
like,
left.
you know, it's a statement of intent for the course, I think.
Yes,
as you go on.
there's a defibrillator on the clubhouse, just
But then the
within reach.
adventure begins, doesn't it? And then, you know, I really don't want to do hole by hole, but I feel like we have to talk about the second, which is a split fairway par 5 with a punch bowl green of minute proportions tucked in a corner of the right, where I was stood in the middle of fairway and I still didn't know where the green was. It was
Yeah, it
superb
is.
fun.
It's
but you
a-
can pick the fast route down the right or the generous one down the left, and it's absolute.
Well, yes, exactly. The fast route. I mean, Tom, dare I say it, with your second ball.
Oh, come on, David. We were doing so well.
But Tom had a little wedge in,
Yeah.
and potentially had a drive and pitch eagle. But
I mean,
Sam was playing the long way round, and it's three
it
shots.
was a bit of a agricultural first swing of the morning with a
Yeah.
persimmon wood bat. Having
Yeah.
nutted it yesterday,
Yeah.
I knew I couldn't back that
You
up
don't
again.
have to, you don't have to validate it.
No,
it's
but
fine.
that part of the fun is the series of this.
Yeah.
But there's so many wonderful holes. But it's, you know, they're quirky and they're
I'd
just
say
a lot of fun.
I don't
yeah.
want to talk hole by hole, but I think I do need to talk about the third, which is possibly one of the more intimidating shots I've ever hit in my life, because 10 yards beyond the green, it's plunging downhill, par 3, and 10 yards beyond the green is about 30 caravans that you could take out. They're illegally parked, I may add. They shouldn't be there.
we think
But-
they're all right. Yeah,
But you feel like if I thin this a little bit, I could be in a
Yeah.
real pickle.
I have to say
especially at
that was
5 in
the shot
morning.
of the day, which is queuing us up for that, Tom.
Thank you.
You hit it within 3
Thank you.
feet. I mean, it was a fantastic drive.
It's clever how he segues into this stuff. When we did a podcast with Derek Arahi talking about Corbelis, and he summed it up beautifully where he said it's quirk, but it's quality. And I think too often we sort of say, oh, it's quirky, and then that becomes a bit of a catch-all term for anything that's just a bit out of the ordinary. But it's real quality. You know, I remember when we spoke earlier in the week, you said, oh, the coring work we've done over the winter and stuff, and last year it's paying dividends, and they're rolling great, and it must just be a real labour of love, this. Like, you must get a huge amount of personal satisfaction.
Well, I do. I mean, I love playing here. I feel it's a hugely important facility for the area, and it obviously helps tourism and everything. And I love the club, delightful. I recommend you all come to the Traigh Open, which is one of the top
100%.
events of the season, or indeed the Traigh Senior Open, but you boys are too young for that.
I'll give it a good punt, David.
I have
I'll
to
give it a
say,
good
all
go.
the members have dangerously high handicaps. So
But you have, you think you're saying you have about 100 members?
we
mixed
have
between
about
country
100.
and
That
locals?
includes country members and local members.
And then you probably spent quite a bit of time and a lot of resource kind of keeping the project going and stuff. I mean, how do you speak to? There's quite a few of courses like Traigh dotted around these sort
Yes,
of remote
I
parts.
do talk to them, and their dynamics tend to be slightly different because some of them are in towns, and they can have events in the clubhouse, whereas we're more remote, and the dynamics are slightly different. We are very much dependent on visitor income. Whereas some of the others are owned by clubs, and then they have to pay rent and things, and so the dynamics of all of them are different, but we're all comparable, and I think so. I strongly recommend Highland 9-hole courses. So.
Well, I think we drove up yesterday from Machrihanish, so if it, you know, I wouldn't suggest anyone do that drive regularly.
After
it's like
36
it's like
holes.
5 hours. So,
Yeah.
but I
quote
think what I was
David, you'll be
surprised
very
at,
tired when
yeah,
you
I
get
was
here.
very tired. But I think what I was surprised at is, although I've lived in Britain my entire life, I had no idea how beautiful this part of the world is. That's this sort of stretch of Scotland, and this is the type of place I imagine that you'd come. You know, if you were really into your golf, you could come and stay for a few days. Could get a week past. You do those?
Yeah,
with
we
golf
do
and-
that. Yeah.
and just spent such a wonderful time in like just exploring the area, because we're looking over now the Isle of so what are we looking at?
You're looking on the far left, which we can't see from quite where we're sitting, but you can see from the course is the island of Muck, and then you have the island of Egg, which is long, low, flat. And then the spiky island is Rum, which is normally wreathed in cloud, but today is as clear
You said
as
that's
any.
the wettest place in Great Britain.
Well, I think it probably it's seriously wet. I mean, we have a joke saying that if you can see Rum, it's about to rain. If you can't see Rum, it is raining. But to be fair, Rum does capture a lot of the rain. And then straight over there is Skye, and you can see the Coolin Mountains on Skye behind the first ridge. So you've got the three of the great islands, and you boys are heading to Uist, which on a clear day you can just about see between Rum and Skye.
Yeah, that's a long way away.
Well, that's the
Long way
reason
away.
we're probably being quite economical on this pod, is we've
Yeah,
got a ferry from Malek, which is only 15 minutes away.
Well,
so if you're
that's-
going to South Uist, this is about 15 minutes just south, isn't it?
Yeah, of Malek, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It
yes.
seemed like the perfect crime when we were planning the trip to swing by and see Traigh, because we knew you'd been involved here. To swing by, try and get a quick loop in before we caught our ferry.
Well, I'm so pleased you did. We had to get up early, but you played some lovely shots, so it was good having
It's
you
actually
here.
quite hard trying to play persimmon at 6:15 in the morning.
Persimmon.
But the thing is, that's become a thing for me now. It's like,
It's my identity.
I don't always play persimmon, but when I do, I tell everyone repeatedly.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the course guides? Because when we first had dinner together, this is going back a while ago now, you gave me a little copy of your watercolour book, which is wonderful. And then, nice surprise when you get in here to find you're the brains behind this stroke saver, which is an artist impression of each of the golf holes. And I think it's absolutely glorious.
Well, it was a lot of fun to do, and quite important because there are one or two holes where you might play to the wrong green. Because you can't necessarily see
you
the,
can't see
the
where
route.
the green you're supposed to be playing to.
Yeah. So it's quite, and particularly things like the second, which you were describing, you've got to make up your mind whether you're doing death or glory. And I've put a little about each hole. The fifth is called McKechnie's Leap, because Tommy McKechnie, many years ago, the bridge was floating away on a high tide, and he jumped in and rescued the bridge.
Yeah, but it's great, isn't it? The second hole, Spion Cop. And then each of the holes on the back nine have Gaelic names, because obviously Traigh Gaelic.
Exactly.
So you've given all the back nine holes
They're
Gaelic
the same names, but translated.
So
Is it
Spion
Gaelic or
Cop.
Gaelic?
Well, I would say Gaelic. Gaelic tends to be Irish and Gaelic Scots.
Okay.
It's like whiskey has no E in one of the two countries.
Yeah, in
in
Ireland it has an E, and
Strange.
Scotland it doesn't. Yeah.
But the wording, Spion Cop, was a formidably inaccessible fort in the Boer War. The hole has similar defences. And then it goes on to play and then plod round the flat country below to make the hole play its full 452
That's what you
yards.
did.
Yeah, that's what
You plodded.
I played it the long way, whereas if you go the sort of as the crow flies, it's significantly shorter.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful. In terms of the health of these sort of, I don't know how you'd categorise them, but really sort of Highland 9-hole courses, or the sort of the honesty box 9-holers, general health on those clubs and courses as facilities. Is it getting harder to...
Well, I like to think there's more interest in playing these sort of courses because they're so removed from the sort of experience, dare I say it, in the south of England with sort of luxury clubhouses and things. And this is really challenging weather conditions. Normally, you couldn't have played with the wind because we're right on the sea. So I think they're a lot of fun, and we are seeing more interest. And in particular, overseas visitors, we get a surprising amount come, and they want to play something completely different. And that it certainly is.
It's almost the last bastion of sort of adventure within Great Britain for golf, I feel.
Yes,
because a lot of places have become a road fairly well trodden, and even now, we sort of feel like we're probably following in lots of other footsteps, really. But it's there's always that thirst for a bit more adventure and discovery, really, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so. And and of course we've got the views, and it's a long road. You have to take the road to the Isles. So I like to feel it's an adventure for people coming here, and I hope the golf course lives up to it when they get here.
Do you think it's a challenge in today's cashless society that people aren't really planning ahead enough when they try to visit these places? Because
you see, we have to be clear, we're not an honesty box course.
Yeah.
We man the clubhouse between 10 and 4.
Yeah.
So we're only an honesty box out of hours.
Okay, there is a facility to pay outright.
It's all
Yeah.
card.
Okay, yeah.
It's all card.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is the problem with having an honesty box course.
No one has cash.
No one has cash. No one has cash. And so it's absolutely worth our while to man the clubhouse, and we do.
Because we were at... God, I want to keep on say caraway, but it's Caradale.
It's Caradale. Why do you think that caraway's a spice that's used in very
It's because I
popular
think it's
golf-based...
because Kim was on the brain most of the time. Caradale, they had the honesty box, but then they had the honesty bank transfer details up on the wall.
I mean, that's quite it's too much, that. I mean, to be honest with you, actually, to be fair, the honesty box does get filled up, but it is out of hours. So during the day, we're definitely manned.
But it's certainly like out of hours is is certainly a thing around here. We drove in at something near 10:30.
At least 11:30, wasn't it? And
people still playing the golf course. I mean, it's still light enough to play. I mean, it was bordering on being
and it's
dark.
camper van city along here, isn't it? There's a lot of people. You can see why. I know they're probably breaking a few rules. A friend driving up here.
This is the manager of the golf.
Your manager wondering what on earth's happening with dog in tow. What's the dog called?
The dog's called Percy.
Hello, Percy.
Morning,
Percy's-
Ailey.
It's okay. But it's a really popular spot, isn't it, for camper vans? We came in, there was little fires on the beach, and
It's
was
it's a beautiful
lovely
part
scene,
of the world.
just
The
absolutely.
only thing I try and do is make sure the camper vans don't sit where you're going to hook the ball from the second tee.
Yeah.
So if people wanted to come to Traigh, find out more, when's the best time to come to Traigh, the Traigh Open?
Traigh opens end of July. I mean, personally, I love coming in May.
Right.
I think the weather is fantastic in May. It's normally better than
Early
say,
summer.
Early summer, and sort of May just seems to get the good weather. I'd recommend that, but obviously high season, it's a real tourist place. But we're playable all the year round. We never have winter greens,
Right, yeah.
so you can play all the year round here.
It can get tricky
think-
in the winter, but
One thing I was quite impressed about on the way around, Dave, is we were walking around and you were describing how you were up on the fairway on, I think it might have been 5 or 6, and you were pulling the daisies out of the ground because when they get too long, the mowers can't get them and stuff. And it sounds like you've got a lot of other things going on in your life, but it sounds like you've put a lot of really hard work into this.
Yes, I mean, to be fair, I have. And also, it's unskilled work pulling out daisies, so I should do that, or cutting reeds by hand.
and dangerous as well.
And dangerous.
How on earth is pulling daisies out of the ground
Well,
dangerous?
you'd be surprised. I got a daisy under my finger and ended up in A&E getting a tetanus jab. So I said to my wife, gardening is extremely dangerous, and got limited sympathy, I have to say. But the green now doesn't have any daisies on it. And also, it takes a trick with visitors when they see me on all fours pulling daisies out of the course.
We touched upon the course guide a little bit earlier on. I think we can go a little bit deeper into it. So they are hand illustrated by yourself. Are they watercolours?
They're watercolours, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your work with watercolour and what you've done with... you've got a book.
I've got a little
Let's plug
book.
that. Really plug that.
Well, it's called Views from the Tee, and it's my favourite courses in Scotland and Ireland and England, and it's got a little bit of text about them because I did quite a bit of writing. I write as well, and I put a watercolour of my favourite holes, and I love doing that. I do a lot of painting, and actually I do cartoons as well. So I fold all that together in the little book.
Is that just hobby stuff, or did it start as hobby? No, it's not now, but did it start as a hobby?
I don't use the word retired, so I say I don't know what my activity is. Manager of a golf course.
Manager of a golf course,
A writer.
an artist, but then also like a really good writer as well, aren't you? So you're a very regular contributor for Golf Quarterly.
Yes, I write for them.
So all of this in here, I feel like it's wrapped up in something around just some insane love for the game, isn't it? Really,
and
because
also, but I mean, what I like is the game is a sort of platform for writing and painting, and it all pulls together.
Being
really.
artistic, it just gives you a direction to be artistic.
It does.
what is it that really captures your imagination with golf, do you think? Because you talk about articles you're writing with gamesmanship.
I think it's.
and-
I mean, my first love was always football, and I still love football. I play walking football now in my 60s.
Do
I
you?
recommend that to anybody. It's
Brilliant.
a wonderful game. But played in Scotland, it's 3-touch. But that's all technical. So we won't go there. But no, what I love about golf is it has so much subtlety. Because at one point it's a big hit, and at the next point it's a delicate chip, and then of course the whole stuff about putts. I mean, you boys and gimmies. I mean, we had a lot of fun with that.
You could lay eggs. It is though. There's a
It
whole
is.
subculture
It's the
within
whole.
that.
It's the whole variety. Because at one level, golf is an athletic sport. You guys hit some enormous shots, and then you have the delicate shots, and yet because of the handicap system, we can all play together. And we could have a good game. But don't get me started on handicaps here, because I think it's quite dodgy here.
You've got one single figure player, you said, in the whole club.
I mean, I have to say it's the land of high mountains and high handicaps. I wouldn't come here expecting the local boys to give you in the Traigh Open. We make sure, although the Sky boys come over and they quite often take it to our dismay. But
Right, okay.
Is there like a thing? Is like where the rum guys do this and the Sky guys do this?
well, they come from. There's a course on Sky called Sconser. That's a very nice course, and they come over on the ferry and play in our Open, and we play there. And then people come up from Fort William and things. But I have to say, I was saying to you guys, the course competitive record is only 1 under par.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
I can see why.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky. It is a tricky course. It's you can go wrong on it.
I don't think it's a. I mean, I don't want to be dismissive. I don't think it's a course that you'd want to go out and count medal scores every day of the week. It's possibly one of the most fun courses I've played in memory, in terms of you've got blind shots, you've got blind approaches. It's just some of the greens, like the green with the up the hill. That's kind of
The fourth green
That's
is
the
like
one.
you're putting on a cliff.
yeah.
And
It's like the Eiger, isn't it?
Yeah.
Paul? I think
And
if
I
you
never-
turn the greens up to sort of 10, then it's
Turn the
going to
greens
get
up to
quite
10.
spicy.
I mean, maybe we should. I'm always taught about that green because it is the defence of the hole.
Yeah.
Is the green? Otherwise, it would be just a flick. You boys were hitting. You didn't. I tried to persuade you to take it on with your drivers, but you laid up with your 6 irons.
Our,
But,
our match took precedence.
Yeah.
I think, David. We were.
yeah.
But it's back to that thing we said on that green. I seem to remember I said, well, as far as I know, I don't think you're going to be having an Open Championship here. This is a place of leisure and enjoyment.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's one of those great subtleties of the game, isn't it? The fact that you can have competitive elements to golf, you can have enjoyable. I mean, this is just really out and out enjoyment golf. At its,
Yes,
at its
I think you're
finest,
right. And
really.
if you asked me
Yeah.
why I loved golf, I mean, you summed it up there. It's
Nuanced
all of
and
that. You
subtleties.
can do all that, and also a football game is a football game wherever you're playing it. Whereas golf courses are so
By
different.
the way, I've
I
got
just
to laugh.
wanted
Percy the dog has
Has he
just
gone on
toddled
my
over
bag?
and just tiddled on your bag, cocked its leg.
I
But
know a word.
think
Percy is the uncle of our dog. So
on
I'm
that bombshell with our ferry to from Malig,
Just quickly,
approaching.
just quickly before we do run away, because we've got just 2 more minutes. What's in the future for Traigh?
Well, hopefully to get enough visitors that it washes its face, which we're almost there, and but we're so remote, and it's such a wonderful place, and I just would love more and more people to come, just so that we're not, as I said to you guys, we're not trying to make money here. We're just trying to make it wash
keep
its
the
face,
project
keep
going.
the project
Keep
going.
it here for the community.
Yeah, exactly.
And for the
exactly.
country membership, then, so that's like 150, I think you said to me.
150, yeah.
So presumably you have people that come, fall in love with it, and just say,
Well, and also it makes sense for them to.
are you the
become-
membership committee?
No, it's the members of the club do the.
They do all
the
of that
mem-
stuff.
yeah.
Percy does that. Percy
Percy does
Percy's-
that.
Yes.
He's wandering over.
Unimpressed with your bag, I can tell you
Yeah.
that.
He's a cutie. Isn't he?
David, thank you so
Well,
much for having
thank you
us.
for coming. I loved it.
I can't believe
Loved
how
meeting
short
you.
notice it was. I honestly thought Traigh was on the north coast of Scotland in my complete ignorance. And when Clyde said, no, you should go to Traigh, I said, do you mean Traigh? I said,
you got that
Traigh.
bit
Well,
right.
David, yeah, I mean, but that's on the north coast of Scotland. He says, no, it's about 10 minutes from Malig.
My
I was
dad
quickly on the
my
phone.
dad had a cap with a bad joke on it saying "Try harder."
David, thank you very
It
much.
was
for
a
joining
great
us.
pleasure.
Are you
Thank
going
you
to say
guys.
adios to end the pod?
Adios to everybody, and please come and play. Please come and play.
Thank you.
Thank you.